Oh, so what are hoof wear patterns? Because this is a concept that, in my understanding, could be a little bit broad, have a broad interpretation. Maybe it's interesting to give some explanation, or maybe define more what a hoof wear pattern for you is.
Okay. Well, a horse's hoof wear pattern is basically the way the horse moves. The horse forms blocks where it doesn't move, and they build up, and they stop the horse from actually moving in a given direction. And then there's other ways where you'll see a wear on the hoof, where the hoof is actually rolled smooth and is kept at an even wear as on the foot, so it doesn't actually grow anymore on it. And that's like an easement. That's the word direction. It gives you a directional motion of that horse. So on each hoof, you're going to have directional movement, and you're going to have blocks. And when you put these all together, you actually see exactly where the horse is trying to avoid and where it's trying to go to in order to walk, trot, canter, gallop, and whatever else it's going to do. But all these patterns are formed by the horse, not just in walk and trot or canter, but in every single movement the horse makes through the day. So it's very important to understand exactly what's inhibiting the movement. And if you know and understand what's inhibiting it, you can then work with body workers, vets, and everyone else, and you can actually know and understand the horse far better.
Yeah. And what does these patterns, if you see this on the hoof, where do you look for exactly?
Well,
kind of maybe texture differences, or like you said, like smoothing spots, or
you'll see if the horse is not wearing both heels evenly, so you'll get a higher heel or a lower heel, or you'll see where there's an easement of movement or main amount of movement, you'll see a very smooth, like a breakover created by the horse itself. But when you see a block can be where the hoof wall is thicker in one part, or it's higher in one part.
And do you think? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So I was also going to say you can also look at the frog. The frog actually indicates direction as well. That's easy to explain in person.
All right. But do you think that is also that the hoof wear patterns are also influenced by the substrate that the horse is kept on?
Yeah, the hoof wear patterns are influenced by not just the substrate or the environment, but also what the people do to the horse. So if they ride it, drive it, long rein it, lunge it, or go in straight lines, that will also feed into that hoof wear pattern. And you can actually change that the hoof wear pattern by changing the form of exercise.
Do you check out the hoof wear pattern for every hoof, or do you compare the different patterns between the several hoofs, or the front hoof and the hind hoof, or what do you?
Well, what you do is as soon as you pick the foot up, you'll notice the hoof wear pattern straight away once you know what it is you're looking at. And you can actually very much trim to them hoof wear patterns. You can take away excess as you normally do in whatever trimming method you use, and you'll trim the hoof to level. But then you go beyond that, you can look at what hoof wear is, and you leave what's actually being worn by the horse. So that's that's its directional movement. You don't need to do much adjustment there anyway, but you're just taking away the excess that the horse isn't doing itself.
Yeah. Last question. What are we going to learn in the hoof wear pattern trimming year this year?
Okay. Well, first of all, you're going to learn more about what these hoof wear patterns mean to the horse or each individual horse. Because although you'll have your own couple of horses, you'll be watching everybody else's horse, and you'll see the progression throughout the year. And just by using hoof wear patterns to trim, and then you'll see any improvement or how the whole hooves progress. Because what we do is make a schematic on all four hooves of each horse, and then when you look at the schematic, you can see exactly where the horse is being blocked in its movement and where it can actually move easier from. So once you've got that beginning schematic, then each time you see it, you'll be able to do a new schematic for that particular horse every single time, and then you'll see the progression or the static or status of the horse each time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And I would like to add that for my part, I will guide the trimmers in how they look at their own body and how they move their body while trimming. So we focus on the spine, on the pelvis, legs, shoulders, and even hand position and hand use, well, use of the whole body. And I use there for the Franklin methods. And these techniques will get your body in a better state and a better movement while trimming. So we start in March, and the last session is in December. So Nick and I hope that you will ask the application form, and we'll see you soon in March. Oh, and if you have more questions, you can always ask, and we try to make another video on Zoom with some answers.
Exactly.
Perfect.